Welcome to What People Miss. In this episode, I talked to Sandra Barker McIntosh. She is the 90-day wins coach, and she has over 5 years of coaching and podcasting experience, where she shares in her solo episodes the blueprint of her 90-day wins methodology. And she also has over 20 years of experience in accounting and finance. In this episode on What People Miss, we talk about the respectability politics behind the way we relate in our families. And I invite you to listen and enjoy her vulnerable shares and our exchange. Pay attention to how you feel in your body as you listen to What People Miss. Welcome to What People Miss, Sandy. It's so exciting to speak with you again.
Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. So, we talked a little bit before we started to record, and we were thinking to make this conversation to be in service to others going into the holiday season, that we would talk about how the respectability politics around relationship and maintaining the peace sometimes keeps us from those difficult conversations that are very necessary.
Yes, they sure do.
So what has been your experience? Like, what are people missing about this?
So I think when you think about trying to keep the peace, specifically, I've been experiencing and learning myself when it comes to family members, we do ourselves a disservice if we're not finding a way to communicate. I know for me, there have been situations recently where I've been able to take a deeper look at the emotion that I was having, the way I was feeling, literally like how my body was reacting because of conversations that I was having. Because what I realized is there were years where I was having discussions with family members where I truly wasn't being honest. And so it's not like I was intentionally uh doing things or saying things, but I wasn't giving the full story. I wasn't being transparent in conversation. So if someone were complaining about something, I would allow for them to complain, but I wouldn't raise my hand or even question to say, well, have you thought about this? And having them essentially take ownership for their role, but I would allow for them to kind of complain and give them the impression that I'm agreeing with them, even though I wasn't. And so I see now, after years of doing this, Cordelia, how it has affected both parties, myself and the family member, because now that I am being forthright, now that I am saying, hey, we've got to be accountable, and what role did you play in this? They are very offensive. They feel attacked. They don't understand why I would be bringing things up that we probably should have talked about before. So I'm learning that I have to make sure that I can communicate and share those things. And it's interesting how life will allow for you to evolve and grow. And so you think kind of like, oh, I don't have to deal with that. But life is so amazing. It'll bring it back to you for you to kind of deal with and see if you can find a better way to move forward. So I've been navigating that, asking the questions and making sure I don't miss the opportunity to share and to say, hey, wait a second, and be very curious, right? And so that's an opportunity that I think that I have now that I'm realizing that I have to find the way to communicate in a way that's graceful, but to let you know, like, hey, let's look at this in another way because I'm seeing something here and I want to have a deeper conversation with you so I can better understand.
Okay, well, let's break that down. You said something at the beginning. You
Yeah.
said there was a change in the way you felt in your body. How did you feel in your body?
anxious and my heart was beating fast and I felt like really tense. And so I attributed that to just being like tired and frustrated and like I felt very much like I wanted to, it was very like strong. Like I wasn't there wasn't any grace there. It was very strong, like enough of this, you know? So you know how like when you let things fester, and I
Hmm.
didn't even realize I was doing that, Cordelia, but in that moment, in that situation, I realized, oh, there's something more here than just this current situation. So it was really interesting.
So it's like would you say that you felt years of frustration and angst around communicating with this individual?
Yes, yes.
Mm. And what did you do to make that go away? Like in the feeling, the sensations in your body, did you do anything?
Uh, get off the call
Oh, okay.
because I was aware that it was literally causing me stress. And
Hmm.
when I realized that there's not going to be a type of I wasn't even looking for a resolution. It was just like for us to have a civil conversation that wasn't available to us for both of us, right? Because I had all this emotion and they had all this emotion. And it was just like it's like we were speaking a different language, right? That
Yeah.
we're used to speaking. So they were confused because they're like, who is this? And I'm just like, oh, you need to get to know her. So it was tough.
So you just ended the call.
I did. I
And
did.
when you ended the call, how did you care for yourself?
So when I ended the call, I I probably mumbled something. And then I just kind of started doing something else. But in my mind, I was thinking that I didn't even need to be doing that anyway because I had some other stuff that I needed to take care of. So it was me thinking like, why are you doing this? Like, why are you even putting in the effort for this? Obviously, what you're trying to give is not something that they want to receive right now, right? So just I'm always ready to kind of like understand what my role is in something, especially when I'm frustrated and I'm having all these emotions. So it was really like, well, you got to be mindful. You're putting yourself into something that, even though your intention is good, right? Like
Mhm.
you're not ready to receive it. So it's going to feel like an attack. It's going to feel as if like, why are you doing this to me? I'm already going through this. So and this is what was expressed to me after, us talking about it. So yeah, it's tough.
Yeah. So I was asking you the questions about the sensation in your body and how you cared for yourself afterwards because
Mhm,
it was an attack. You
mhm,
felt attacked, physically, mentally, spiritually. And this is an opportunity. I want to acknowledge you and celebrate with you that you ended the call and there's aftercare, right?
mhm,
There's self-nurturing that has to happen after, you suffered an attack. And then also, I hear that you heard realizations about it's great to look at where you can be accountable in the interaction. And I feel like before you get to that, there's some woosah, right? Take a minute, take a breath, take a walk,
mhm,
do something that you actually enjoy, you know, and have some separation before going on with your life and doing what you must do. You don't always have to be productive
mhm,
and but you do always have to live in your body.
mhm.
How does that feel?
You just gave me a warm hug.
Yeah.
Because, as busy women, it's like, okay, next. I got things to do. There were already 50 million things I needed to do that day. So to think that, yeah, I did needed that time to just woosah. A walk would have been amazing because honestly, like even though I was moving on to other things, there were still some lingering thoughts in my mind, right?
Yeah. Yeah, you were still working it out. 'Cause that's what I'm hearing. You're like, I was doing the next thing and I was also, decompressing from that conversation and, thinking about, is this something that I want to to engage in? Like give yourself time and space when you have those interactions. Fortunately, in this case, you were on the phone,
Yeah.
right? So you
Yeah.
don't have to look at that person. You don't have to see their facial expressions unless was it a video call.
No.
Okay. But that just think about how intense it could have been
Yeah.
if you were face to face in the same space, because then not only are you going to hear it, but you're going to feel their energy.
Honestly, though, Cordelia, like I think if we were in the same space, I think that the emotion wouldn't have been so much there in that way for me.
Okay.
As this person knows they have a tender space in my heart, so they would have kind of tried to manipulate it based on their emotions. And so they would have found a way to kind of pull on those strings for me. And I'm just really clear that you can no longer do that. So there's a clear boundary. And so I think that's why it's so hard because there's a clear boundary here. Because I can't act like I'm not seeing how this behavior is affecting me and others. So now I'm really being clear to let you know, like I see it, and this can't continue. So I that would have been hard to be in person, honestly.
Okay. So it would have been harder for you to do it in person.
Definitely, definitely, because it would have been, the emotion from them, the crying from them, saying that, no one else understands. And so it's like, they make you feel like, like you're the only one, So obviously, I have to do it, Cordelia. I have to help, right? Like I have to do it. And it's like, no, you don't have to. This person has to figure out their journey.
Yeah. And they have to start being accountable for their actions, be more self-aware and all the things.
Yes. So I mean it's hard too. And I think I keep telling myself like it's so much easier with strangers.
Yeah.
It's harder with people that you love and care for and you truly want the best for. But I can also see, and this is, from my learning, it's like, you're doing that person a disservice by not allowing them to be accountable and to learn their own lessons. So yeah, it's tough.
Yeah. So let's think about another person that you have interacted with recently, a relative,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And did they give you some advice or some things to consider?
Oh yeah. Yeah, well, I was talking to my Baba and we were just having conversation and he was explaining to me like I was telling you that you have to be mindful and you have to be aware and realize that just because someone comes to you with that problem or that question or that concern, you don't automatically to turn on that idea that you have to do something. Maybe it's just you listening, right? And so maybe it's just you hearing and not thinking that you have to take action, you have to move, you have to be a part of this person moving on with intention. And so it's interesting for me to hear that because in my everyday work, I'm telling you, let's win together, let's build together, let's grow. You sharing your goals with me and you saying, I want to come on this journey with you to achieve my goals every 90 days. I'm vested, Cordelia. I'm locked in. I'm like, yeah, we're doing this together. I'm the coach and you're that star player. But that works for my coaching. That
Mhm.
doesn't work when I'm having a conversation with a family member who is clearly in crisis.
Mhm.
And so that's not my job, right? So it's really clear for me when it comes to coaching because I'm like, okay, you're on this journey, you're ready to go forward. If you're stuck here, that means you need a therapist or a counselor, which I'm not, right? And so
Right.
it's just a clear line for me, Cordelia. But when it comes to family, those lines sometimes for me gets blurred. And so that's where me thinking to say, okay, I'm just here to listen.
Mhm.
I'm not here to even suggest anything. I'm just here to listen. And that means that I may not have anything to say. I'm just here to listen. And that can be okay for me.
Okay. So what would it feel like to offer from the beginning, right?
Mhm.
Listen, I want to be there for you, and this is what I'm willing to do. I will set the timer for 10 minutes and I will listen to you, or 5 minutes, whatever you think you can bear,
Yeah, yeah.
right?
That's good. Yeah, yeah,
And just, let them know I will be fully present for these 5, 10, whatever amount of minutes you are willing to offer them.
mhm,
And then just let them know, and
yeah,
also, I'm not going to offer any advice, any, any solutions. I'm simply going to be present and listen.
yeah,
And if they agree to that, then that's how you go forward. If they don't agree to it, guess what? I'm not available.
yeah. I like that. I like the boundaries around that. I feel like I look at boundaries like the guardrails on the road, right? And I didn't create that. That came from a pastor that I listened to years ago, but I never forgot it because that protects the car from going off the ditch, right? So what you just explained to me, that makes sense to me because I'm setting the boundary and I'm saying, your car can get very close to it. But I'm making sure we don't go off the rails. And that helps me frame it for them to say, I'm here to listen. And so you can have a comfort to know that Sandy won't be trying to give you any solution. And literally, you're going to have to ask me because I'm not going to offer it because I'm always figuring out solutions. That's what I do. I actually like doing it, but this is not the role for me in this situation. So
Yeah.
that feels good. And that feels like a practice that I can put in place. It's like when you think about, okay, I'm going to work out. Can I do that exercise daily? So I have to mentally think like, okay, that is doable. That is definitely doable. And just to take that time to set that precedent. So it someone tells you that you have to decide how you want to talk to them.
Hmm. Yeah. You have to decide what you want to say, right? And it's like, wait, this isn't going to be the sandy savior. This is
Yes.
just going to be like, it depends on their perception of the situation, right? This is going to be Sandy just sitting there, right?
Mhm.
Or this is going to be Sandy loving me with her ears and her heart, right? So if they have questions, you can offer that, you know, this is different from the way we normally interact. I get
Yeah.
to love you with my ears and with my heart. And, if there's anything that you want to offer beyond that, perhaps you could say with my prayers, and that's it. So how does your body feel with that?
That actually makes me feel safe.
Mm-hmm. Tell me more.
Because, putting yourself out there and have someone really just be like, my intent is not to hurt you,
Mm-hmm.
So, and this. And so I understand you're dealing with what you're dealing with. We all are, right? But by me letting you know, I'm loving you with my ears and with my prayers, like, I believe that would resonate. I
Okay.
believe that is me saying with my words that I care about you.
Mhm.
And I'm just here to listen because truly that's really what it is, right? Because at the end of the day, you have to make the choice for yourself. And so all those years of helping you make choices, but you didn't do anything, like it's on you now. You have all the information, right? Like you are equipped. And
Mhm.
so now all I need to do is listen and love you
And
with.
and love you with your ears, and as a possibility, that might be very empowering for them, like, "Oh, wow, Sandy sees that I, have capabilities," and, perhaps that's a better way to bond. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, like, are there any other difficult relatives that do you think that would work for?
Well, I think just situations and conversations, right? Whether relatives or friends, because so many people are dealing with so much. And so that's where I I think that's where that self-reflection comes in because it's like I can feel the energy, right? I can feel that, you're going through a lot and I don't have frivolous conversations. And so when I talk to people, like we talk, we have conversation just by nature of the questions I ask, because I care about you. So I can tell, whether it's a friend that's going through a divorce or a friend that lost a job that feels like they're the only one dealing with it, it's like, I want to make sure that I'm letting them know I see you and I hear you. And how do you want to walk through this storm together? Because really, I feel like that's the question. Like, how do you need my support in this time? Because,
Yeah.
like, certain things I've not been through, I don't know what it is to go through a divorce. I think we were talking about that, right?
Mhm.
And
Yeah.
so, just the dynamic of that being there for that friend and understanding that, there may be a time where they just need to kind of not be around their married girlfriend right now and be
Yeah.
okay with that. And don't have any like, oh, well, why? It's like, okay, they're just moving in a space that's new for them, right? So they're literally learning how to tell you, this is how you can be my friend in this moment, right? So it's just a lot of these interactions with people that you want to make sure I want to make sure that I'm showing up and I'm being that light however I can for them in this moment. So just a lot of that going on. People are suffering so greatly and you want to be able to just show them that you're there and you see them. I mean, just simply me showing up on TikTok. Remember I told you I've been on TikTok and people are sharing with me some really deep things. And it's like, you'll be okay. It'll be okay, just one step at a time. And it's like, I'm so happy to see you here yet again showing up. You inspire me. I get up in the morning and I'm having a rough day and I know Sandy's gonna be on at 8. So I get on there and you're walking in the sun shining. So it's like I just want to continue to show people and by my actions to say, you can do it. You can take another step, but also just be mindful that I'm letting them know, like, I know you see me and I get on that camera and I look like I'm all put together, but guess what? 2 minutes ago, I had to go talk to Cordelia, like, girl, guess what happened? My goodness. And then I'm coming on here, get your wins, girl.
Yeah.
It's life. I still got to keep moving, but I'm human too. So I don't want you to be confused. Like 2 seconds ago, I was a mess, but I washed my face off and I came on here and I say, hey, we can do it because that's life. We got to keep moving. So yeah, I don't know if that answered your question, but
Absolutely. And, as a possibility 2 minutes ago, you were just Sandy,
yeah.
not the coach,
Yeah.
not outward facing, just Sandy inward facing. That doesn't make you a mess, that just makes you human,
Yeah.
right? Yeah. So I feel like, that's part of the respectability politics, like you have to be something always.
Mm,
And in fact, the truth is you get to be
I get
you always. In certain spaces, you're held, and other spaces, you're holding others, you know? And isn't it like a breath of fresh air to just take off your cape sometimes?
Yes. Yes, yes, yes.
Yeah. Like you don't have to be Sandy Savior everywhere. You can just be Sandy,
Yeah,
you know, who wins and has her own inner winning.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
That's good.
Yeah. And I think that's a good reflection, for our listeners and viewers too, because like going into the holidays, you're going to see relatives that you don't normally see, and there may be, that one person or few people, right? That it's just like, oh, I got,
Yeah.
you know, I got to be strong for them, and this is an opportunity to say, you know what? This year, I'm going to be strong for me. And that means that I want to feel safe in my body, which looks like I don't want to listen to you.
Oof, that's good. The way you framed it for me, like when you think of those interactions that your body's going through when you're around certain people, like, you know, I got to be able to protect myself. I've not thought of it like that, but that's it, like I'm protecting myself because, like it has other reactions to you, your blood pressure, your cortisol levels, all the things, right? And it's like, oh, why am I feeling like this? Because I'm holding that stress, right? So, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, you can even pay attention to the position of your mouth, right?
Mm,
So, like in Tantra, you know that you're relaxed when your tongue is flat at the bottom of your mouth, right? But if you feel like you're chewing on the sides of your tongue or it twists,
yeah.
or your mouth gets really dry, like there's no fluid in there, that's a trauma response.
Oh, wow.
That's like, I don't feel safe. I want to run. You may feel like you're clenching or like you're holding you're holding your breath, right?
Yes.
And sometimes you'll, just fidget or wiggle or not move at all,
Mm,
right? So if you think about if you just get busy with paying attention to your body responses to people, you can decide who gets your energy and who doesn't.
I'm learning that because I was sharing with my community about discerning the people you're around and how you feel around them. But even that step further, how is my body reacting to be around them?
Mm.
When you talk about people, they feel very anxious. They have, someone in the office that, feels the need to come by them, but the way they are coming by them, they'll come in their cubicle and it's like they're overpowering them and how that makes them feel. So, yeah, that's good to even take it that step further and to think that you're like, I like the way you framed it. It's like I'm not allowing myself to be safe in my body. And that to me is like, why would I not protect myself?
Yeah.
That's powerful.
Yeah. So, like my work is all around somatics and breath and
Mm,
movement or stillness,
yeah.
So my invitation in this conversation, and I didn't even intend to like coach you around this, but I really just want to support you and our listeners and viewers in pay attention to your breath, pay attention to your body, pay attention to like, are your shoulders up? Are your shoulders down? You know, are you breathing? Are you not breathing? Do you need to breathe? How are you sitting? How are you standing? And what are you willing to make yourself available for? There may be some people that listen to this and they start withdrawing invitations, I hope. Because you can't, sometimes you literally cannot stomach being around some people.
Yeah. Yes. But it's what you said, that respectability. I mean, how many times I can speak for myself, right? Like my mom's tell me, well, you should do this. You should do that. Or your aunt expects, or your uncle expects, or your dad expects, but it doesn't feel good to me.
Yeah.
But I still do it because of that respectability, right?
Yeah.
A detriment to me. I'm feeling uncomfortable. And then we learn to kind of push down those feelings, right?
Yeah. Not anymore.
Not anymore, exactly. Because we know better.
And also because it's to the detriment of your soul,
Oof.
your health, right? And your mental space.
Yes, yes. And see, that's why I think conversations like this are so important, right? Because there's so much to learn about ourselves and about, habits that no longer serve us, right? And so as we are learning and growing, I want to continue to learn those things and just let that weight go, like that baggage that's not mine to carry as I move forward so I can help my daughter learn things, right?
Yeah. She's watching you.
Yes,
She's watching what you put up with.
totally, totally. And best believe there have been times where she's like, Mama, what's going on? Like, why are you allowing this?
Right.
Or even she'll say, like, you don't need to have a conversation with them anymore.
Hmm.
You need a timeout. I talk about timeouts a lot. I put myself on timeout. It's like, yeah, that situation and that interaction, I need some space. So I'm sending love and light to you. God bless you. But for right now, I need to be over here. So that I'm really good at doing. I think it's more so like I am protecting myself and the other person because I don't want to say anything that would cause more harm. And I'm also protecting my energy because at that point, I've realized like I need to physically be away. I need to have some time by myself. I need to come inward. And definitely, I don't need to be around you, like physically, or like I don't even want to think about you being in my space or conversating with you. So that I can identify and say, oh, yeah, it's time for a timeout. So it's funny when my daughter gives that to me, like, yeah, you need a timeout. You need a timeout.
You're so wise, right? Because she's probably heard one or two of your coaching sessions, or she's very familiar with your work,
Yes, yes.
and then she sees how you live and she's helping you to be congruent.
Totally.
Our kids are great for that.
They are.
Yeah.
They are. And so I remember growing up, my grandma would tell me that, your sister's always watching. And so now I'm like, okay, my child is always watching. And it's like, I only got one. So I be telling her all the time, like, girl, I'm still working this out. Okay. There are levels to this. As you learn and grow, you learn certain things and yeah, you learn some more. So yeah, it's a process.
Well, thank you, Sandy, for being on What People Miss and helping us see what we may be missing in ourselves.
Thank you for having me. This was awesome. I feel like I got an amazing session with you.
Yes. So, where can people find you if they want to have access to your 90-day wins?
Sure. So everywhere 90 Day Wins, my website, 90daywins.com, on social media, 90 Day Wins, LinkedIn, Sandy B. So that's where you can find me. And I'm about achieving goals every 90 days. And I'm having all sorts of fun on the TikTok platform, which I never thought I would. But I'm having some fun. I'm meeting people that are willing to do the work and decide they want to achieve goals. So it's an exciting time. It's fun.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much for being here. And I hope this isn't our last conversation.
No, not at all. Thank you for having me.
You're welcome. Thank you for listening to What People Miss. Do you hear yourself in Sandy's story in this particular episode? If you do, I invite you to reach out to me at hello@cordeliagaffar.com or go to my website, cordeliagaffar.com, so that you can benefit from my methodology and the Ultimate Joy Goddess community, so that you can choose joy and pleasure and savor your life. Until next week.